Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Wednesday, June 29th. And you can see clear skies out there this morning is going to lead to a nice sunshiny day with temperatures across most of the MAC area in the 70s, maybe getting close to 80 over the next couple of days, but mainly 70s with dry air out there, low humidity and dew points. So it'll be quite comfortable. And hopefully we can get some rain as we get into Thursday. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Across the MAC area this morning, temperatures in the upper 40s to the mid 50s. So a pretty cool start to the day. And if the regional look across the state, you can see some of the colder spots down to 42 at Elma, 39 at Cadillac. So some very chilly air. And that's also helped a little bit with the moisture situation. And I mean a very little bit, but we'll show you that as well in a minute. You can see the normal highs for the day is 82. The normal low is 58. Yesterday we had a cool high of 71, a low of 55 with no precipitation. But notice the evapotranspiration rate. The previous day was about 27 hundredths. Yesterday, only 14 hundredths. That due to some of the cloud cover, and you can see that as we look at the some of the moisture conditions here. This is from the three locations of Breckenridge, Brown City, and Marlette. Notice the 8-inch level. This is the 8-inch level. How we continue to rise in those as well. In fact, in Breckenridge, you can see we've hit a couple of 200 CBs, which is bone dry at 8 inches, not good. And then you can see what the overnight and the morning dew does. It tries to bring some of that moisture back down into the ground. And you can see as we look at one of the main reasons why this little spike here didn't go up much drier yesterday is due to the cloud cover. So again, Mother Nature tries to help out, at least in some small ways when we can't get rain. If we look at the very latest, as far as this is 2 days ago, notice the average across the MAC area as far as percentage of precipitation from normals was 50.81. 2 days later, with no rain across the area, down to 47. And you can see some of the very critical areas now. St. Thomas over the last 2 months down to 38% of normal precipitation for both May and June combined. So not good, and we desperately need rain across the area, and that's something that we've been fearing since back in the wintertime when we issued our forecast saying that growing degree days weren't going to be the problem, but it would be timely moisture, and that certainly has proven to be the case as we start to work our way into the growing season. As far as accumulated growing degree days, not a problem. Several areas now approaching the 1,000 mark, about 35 to 40% of the way through. And as far as the graphical look, you can see how we've done. The big thing is we got off to a really nice start with plenty of ground moisture, and a nice stretch of 80-degree days really got us all the crops to emerge quite quickly. But since then, along with the nice growing degree days, we've had too much dry weather. If we look at the some of the different areas as far as growing degree days, you can see Blissfield actually doing quite well. Remember, all these locations are about 2 to as much as 3 weeks later than last year's planting, so at the 50% mark. So we're doing quite well on growing degree days. You can see in Breckenridge as well, we're ahead of all the critical years that we look at, including the last couple of years. And we're approaching the normal amount, and we're going to continue to see that rise quite rapidly. And you can see a good shape in Brown City as far as growing degree days. And they've actually had quite a bit more moisture in the thumb area. I'm sure they could use a drink as well, but they're better off than many areas along with moisture and with growing degree days. And if we look at the 20-year average as far as growing degree days here in the Breckenridge area, we're in the upper echelon of some of those years, so in great shape there as well. Again, we just need the moisture. On today's weather map, you can see our next weather maker is going to be low pressure that'll move off to the northeast, and then we're going to have a cold front that's going to drop through. That's going to help push a little bit of moisture. The models are just ever so slightly a little more generous with the rainfall we expect, a little bit slower in moving in. But for Thursday night into Friday, probably most of it will be Friday morning. I think that's when our best chance of precipitation will come through. The worst thing about this, and we'll show you that in a second, is the cold front's going to be coming through during the overnight hours and morning hours on Friday morning. Not an ideal situation to get the maximum amount of lift and instability to build up, but still showers are expected across much of the area, with most areas seeing at least hopefully a tenth of an inch. Some areas could see a little bit more than that. And if we look at the map for Friday morning, you can see that cold front now pushes through the area. High pressure will build in for the weekend. Again, that's going to help keep us somewhat below normal right on through much of early next week as we continue to see some of these fronts move through. But we have a major push of warm air that's going to be coming as we get towards the end of next week, around the Friday, Saturday, maybe Thursday night. And with that, it'll be a warm front. And that could bring us some substantial rain and thunderstorms as that warm air tries to push this way. But until then, it looks awfully dry. So we desperately need to get as much rain as we can out of this Thursday night, Friday system. As far as precipitation off the GFS over the next 78 hours, which would be that system for Thursday night and Friday, you can see the GFS keeps the far southeast lower Michigan quite a bit drier, and then only about a tenth to maybe 3/10 of an inch for much of the area. It is to be noted, however, here you can see on the GF or the European model picks a pretty good area in the areas that really need the rain across mid-Michigan, possibly seeing a quarter to a half inch with and it would also show about 1 to 3/10 of an inch of rain down in this area as well. So the European model is a little bit more generous with the rain. Let's hope it's right. And if we look at the WPC's depiction on rainfall here over the next 7 days, you can see again the heaviest precipitation well off to the state, down across the southern plains into the southern Ohio and Tennessee valleys into the mid-Atlantic states, while we see about a quarter, maybe a half inch in some areas. So let's hope we get the higher amounts on that. And as far as the extended outlooks, the 6 to 10 day outlook shows we're going to be getting warmer. And if we look at the 8 to 14 day temperatures, much of the U.S. is going to be warm. In fact, it could be darn right hot. One thing that may make this not quite as hot as it could be is we do see a little bit of a crash in the southern oscillation. Now in the wintertime, that would put a trough across the U.S. in about a week to 10 days. But with the shorter wavelengths of summer, that may not be the case. So again, we do expect warmer air to move in and maybe even some hot air once we get towards next weekend. As far as precipitation over the next 6 to 10 days, we begin to see a little bit more in the way of moisture show up. And then as we get to 8 to 14 day outlook, much of the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Tennessee valleys could see above normal precipitation, and hopefully that is the case. Thanks for stopping by and have a great day, and 73s to all.